I reprogrammed my subconscious mind to heal. And I did it through absolutely simple steps that I'm gonna share with you. Steps that are gonna heal yourself, heal your body, and finally break free. If you're new to my channel, I'm Cosimo. I've helped over 80,000 people worldwide to rewire their brain so their life feels more impactful, meaningful, healthier. I partnered with Tony Robbins and Nick Graziosi's Mastermind.com. I was a TEDx speaker. So guys, you're here on this channel, you're gonna have so much fun understanding about yourself and changing your life. So here is the first breakthrough. Emotional wounds equal body wounds. It's really important to understand that every emotion that happens in your life has a message for you. It doesn't happen for you to hurt you, it happens to you to understand the message. If you are a Joe Dispenza lover as I am, he says something very important. The environment signals new genes. The environment signals genes. What does that mean? Without talking about science, genes, cells, whatever, I'm gonna summarize hours of trainings in 1 minute. The environment he's talking about is not the external environment, it's actually your body, internal environment. So where your cells are living into. And when you live by the hormones of stress, when you're stressed in your life, your internal emotional state creates those chemicals. And so your cells live in this environment that's stressful, and that stress gives a signal to your cells to produce in their genes specific proteins. Now, the worst is your emotions. The cheapest are the proteins those genes are going to create. And he demonstrates that this can lead people to have disease that makes you sick. So in other words, you make yourself sick. Now, it's important to understand this. Your subconscious is your best friend. It keeps you alive, it keeps your lung working, it keeps your heart working, and your body is your friend, meaning that your body wants to be healthy, your body wants to have energy, your body wants to experience life. But there is a disconnection. And the disconnection happens when your emotional turmoil is about guilt, about anger, about reproof, about doubt, feeling not enough, feeling that you're not doing good. All those thoughts creates an emotion, it creates this connection between what the body really loves to do with you and what you're thinking about yourself. And you know what happens? You condition your body first consciously and then it becomes unconscious. So your body will obey what you repeatedly taught it to feel. So basically you programmed your body to feel sick and then to be sick. So now, let's say you feel stressed. Let's say you are in those thoughts. What happens is people know that, oh, I don't need to feel stressed. If I want to manifest in my life, I should feel grateful, in love with my life, but I'm so pissed off, I'm so stressed, I have so many things to do. And so now, the thing is, it seems like you learned that having bad emotions means that you're a bad person. But that's what society conditioned us to think. In reality, we feel emotions because we have to feel them, not because we have to ignore them. So it's not wrong to feel emotions. What's wrong is to ignore emotions. The wrongest is not to feel at all emotions. So now, feeling emotions is the most important thing because every emotion carries a message for you. Not listening to that, ignoring that will lead you to feel in a certain way constantly that will lead you to be sick at some point. Have you ever had so many thoughts about things that were not going well, things that you hoped to go well, but it didn't, things that happened, and then you were being stuck into your head until you felt physically your head being heavy, and then you have that terrible migraine, terrible headache that you needed to lay down on a bed, maybe for a few days. Well, you demonstrated by self that your mind, your state of consciousness makes you sick when you were not. So now, it's important to understand that we don't need to ignore emotions. We have to acknowledge emotions, listen to the emotions, listen to the message. So, simple steps that I applied was to notice first what was the emotion. And here's the tip. The tip I want to give you is it's not like I'm frustrated, I'm angry, no. You have to acknowledge the emotions, understanding that you are not the emotion. Here is the first important breakthrough you need to have. You're not your emotions. You have emotions, like you have hands, but you are not your hands. So you have those emotions, and so you have to enhance your metacognitive sensibility. It's a skill. Metacognitivity means being aware of your own thoughts. So in that moment, instead of saying, I'm a failure, I feel failure, you say, I'm having a thought of being a failure. The fact you know you're having a thought of being a failure creates some distance. Do you understand? There is a program they are running. Or like, I feel angry. I'm having the feeling of anger. That creates distance from the emotions for you to acknowledge it. Now, after you notice it, what do? You have to understand the message. You have to understand the message this emotion has for you. Some people do this. They feel stressed and they say, no. I have to feel grateful. I have to feel happy. I have to feel whatever. But what are they doing is basically ignoring the emotion. So they know they should feel some ways, but that's not the way. It's like you have a leakage in your house, you have a water leak in your house, and you just turn your face to another way and say, oh, the house is beautiful, there's no problems, I'm feeling so happy in this house, but the water leak is still there, water is coming out, and so now what happens? It's gonna create more damage. What would you think about yourself if that was happening for real? Would you ignore the water leakage you had in your house? Of course no. You would take care of that. You would deal with that things. So not dealing with your emotions causes the real problem, not dealing with them. So the fact you don't deal with the emotions causes the problems in your life. And it's not the emotion creating the problems in your life. Let me repeat this. Not dealing with your emotions in your life creates the problems in your life. It's not the opposite. It's not the emotions creating the problems in your life. So now we have to deal with them, recognizing them, and then listening to the message, understanding that emotion. And so after you understand you're having an emotion, you say to yourself, yes, I'm human. I can have emotions. What is the message you want to give me? And you have to be truly open to receive that message. Now let me tell you Simone's story. Simone is one of my greatest friends I ever had. He was my best man at my wedding. So he's a guy that is full of life and you cannot help but laughing around him. He's full of energy and he's really contagious. At some point he found his darkest moment in his life when he found out he has multiple sclerosis, which is basically an immunity disease that enable your nerves to function properly. And so you stop walking, you stop sometimes eating, you stop doing normal functions in the beginning until you really lose yourself in that disease. He went to the doctor, he told him that he would have been on a wheelchair after 3 years or before, and he was really destroyed by all was happening around himself. And I remember that conversation in which, of course, I felt empathizing him and he's my friend. I felt sorry for him. But in that moment, he told me, we always talk about what's the message that life and those emotions wants to give me. And most of all, what's the message of this disease? Because before this disease, I must have had emotions that I didn't manage properly, I didn't use properly. And he said, well, the message I take from this is that I never enjoyed what I've built. And let me tell you, it was impacting people's lives. It was touching many people's lives and souls. But he never really enjoyed everything he built. And now life was forcing him to stay still and look and enjoy his life. Guess what happened? A few years later, he was not in a wheelchair. He's now traveling the world. He was the best man at my wedding. He's still full of life because he understood the message. So now again, what's wrong is not to feel emotion. What's wrong is not to deal with them or to be apathetic, not to have any emotions. What's right is to actually use emotions before emotions uses you. So emotion as a word, it says emotion, energy in motion, is energy that's moving. And either you guide the emotions to create something for you, to give you the message for you to do something about it, or the emotion will guide you to something that you don't want to have in your life. So it's important to acknowledge every emotion. So now, first step. Step number 1, notice. Number 2, understand, listen to the message. Number 3, do it and do it now. And this is crucial because once you understand the message is always something that makes you improve, that makes change your life. If you ever listen to Joe Dispenza and his testimonials, people don't talk about the fact that they healed of their disease, a chronic disease or whatever it is. They always say, besides they healed, that they became a different person, they changed themselves. So emotion happens for us to change ourselves, to change the way we're thinking, to change, to understand the patterns they are hurting ourselves. And so most of all when they are negative emotions, okay, I'm not talking about empowering emotions or high level of emotions. I'm talking about low level of emotions. Those emotions happens to really give us a message to heal ourselves, to direct ourselves in a different directions we're going in that moment. So once you understand the message is always something you can improve, and you're gonna feel thankful that you said, oh my gosh, I understood this about myself, now I'm gonna do it. And do it now. There is no procrastination because that emotion is gonna come back or check on you, and in that moment you're gonna say, I did it, what's the message now? And if the message is the same, you're gonna get even more actions into it. And once you take actions, once you see your life changing, you no longer need that emotion, and so it will go away. So understand the message, and life will respond in a different way. And life will give you more reasons to feel elevated emotions. Your internal environment will signal new genes. You're gonna feel more energetic, younger, maybe more explosive than you are, and that energy will create even more things in your life. So then the question for you is this: when are you gonna listen to your emotions? What is the emotion they have right now they are not listening to, that you want to understand what the message is behind? And I'll tell you, it takes energy, but it's all worth it. It's all worth it for you, for the people around you, and for the life you want to build. And see you in the next video.